Welcome to the assembly video for the SV32 Sovereign Prop Blaster. This kit comes in 30 pieces total. This is what you should get. Not pictured are a couple of magnets, 10 by 30 millimeters, also should come with the kit. This is what I recommend, Starbond CA Glue, but any super glue probably will work fine. I do like to sand one or both surfaces before I glue them, but to spare you the boring details, I'm not going to actually show that through this video. The first part I would glue together is the grip. It's got 3 small pins, so sand one or both sides like you just saw, some glue in the recesses, and pop the pins in. There should just be 3 of those. Now, I forgot to actually show me gluing them together, but there's the grip. I would absolutely clamp the grip together once you have super glued it, set it aside, and leave it alone for at least an hour. Next thing I would do is the mag, the little thing that is going to pop out of that grip. This one's got 2 pins, so sand one or both sides of the mag, glue in, pins in, and this one I think I did actually shoot the video of, actually gluing it together. Oh good, here it is. This one needs to be a very tight fit. Like, this needs to be under a stack of books or with as many clamps as you can put on it while it dries. And I would leave this one alone for a few hours. If I were you, that's my recommendation. Lots of clamps, because we want that thing to be as compact as possible so it can come in and out of the grip. Let's do the trigger guard next. Trigger's going inside the guard itself. I did sand the trigger, just a little glue in that recess. Now this thing, you want to make sure you pop it in right. See, it pops in like that, but then also, make sure that it's seated properly. Took me a minute. There it is. You want just a small, slight gap, as you see there, between the front of the trigger and the actual gap in the trigger guard. Clean that up. That's not going to need any clamps, just set that aside and let it dry. Alright, let's do this little doodad that goes on the very back of the entire thing. There's discs that go in these circular depressions. They are flattish discs, and they fit in those little depressions like they're supposed to. Do not confuse them with these guys. These are thicker, more cylinders, and they're a little bit smaller. See, this one's going to kind of move around in there. That is not the one you want to glue in there. No, no, no. You want the discs that are a little bit bigger and fit just right. So sand one side of the disc, glue it in there, and these I would just, like, if you've got super glue or CA glue like I'm using, again, Starbond CA Glue, I would just hold that for 30 seconds, pinch it, and it should be okay. That's not a terribly important structural glue up right there. It's more cosmetic. Let's take the upper main assembly of the blaster. We're going to put in these small screw-like ornamentations. This is what it looks like. They're just tiny cylinders, nothing on them, just a plain tiny cylinder, and they should go right in with a dot of glue on either one. Those are probably going to stick right away. Just the friction of the fit should hold them in. So glue those inside, put that chunk down. Now let's do the barrel ornamentation. We've got these small panels that go in the side. Thought that would give it a little more interest on that blocky side of the barrel. These should be easy to find. There's nothing else to confuse those with. Just glue them in. If you want to clamp those, that's fine. They're bigger than the discs and the cylinders, but I just pinched it, held it for about 30 seconds, and we're good. Alright, top rail also has a couple of uniquely shaped ornamentation pieces on either side. These are what they look like. Hard to miss. They're going right in there. Make sure to dry fit everything just to see what it's like before you actually put the glue in. Because I got most of the tolerances the way they need to be, but just on occasion, due to how things have printed, or if you're printing this file on your own, always check and make sure how they're going to fit first. Alright, now we're going to do these smaller screw heads, and these are going to have a little dimple, a little dot in the middle on this barrel section. Drop those in and Probably should have used tweezers for these. These guys are super small and they can actually go in sideways if you're not careful, so be careful dropping those in. Again, the fit should be good enough that they just stay where they're supposed to be. Alright, let's glue in the trigger guard. Again, fit this one. The tolerances on this are pretty tight as they need to be. But the fit is really good. It should be really good. Should look something like that. Glue in that gap, glue on that top section, and force it in. Again, the tolerances here are pretty good, so I would just leave that in, no need to clamp. Let's have these small buttons go in on either side. I don't think those fit well anywhere else, and they're the only discs you've got left at this point, so should be easy to find and put in there. Alright, this thing has been sitting for a couple 3 hours now, and it is tight in. There is no gap. Here are the 30 by 10 neodymium magnets, and they should fit in very easily. Now, before you glue them in, stick them together like they're magnetized together and mark the outside. This is how we don't make the mistake of gluing one in the wrong side and having them actually repel against each other. You want the marked side to go in. You do not see the X that you've made. You want the blank side showing. So, in the clip first, it should seize pretty quick if you're using super glue. Now, this is going to be the trickiest part of the whole build. We've got to get the other magnet down into the recess. See, there it is, at the top of the gap in the pistol grip. Again, the X is going face down. We do not see the X once it's glued in. We want to see the unmarked side. I would use a hex key like that big one I just had. You can use a needle file, but you're going to need something magnetic to surgically place this thing down the barrel. I put glue on the magnet itself. You could just drop glue down into the bottom if you wanted to, but try to have a steady hand. Be careful when you're dropping this in there, and once you think it's seated, use a flashlight to make sure. You want to check it visually. Do not take this thing off yet, because if you just try to pull the magnet off of whatever you're sticking in there, it's probably just going to take the magnet up out. You got to leave it there and let the glue settle. Clamp it like that, leave it alone. Now let's put the barrel together with the upper main chunk. They fit together with a peg kind of already inset, just like that. I would put a little glue around the butt connection as well as that peg recess. If you've got, a long clamp to use there, go for it, but they should glue and stay together fine without. Alright, those should be in where they belong. Let's test a fit here. Now this may happen to you. It's going to be a rough fit the first few times until it kind of wears itself down to fit well. But it's just going to take some in and out and some continual use. In fact, I kind of split open the grip. You can see the gap right there. That's fine. Go back and fix it if you need to. Once that's dry, connect with the grip. Already got a slot that goes together, and let that dry. Now let's put together the entire top rail. Just these two pieces. Fits together like that. This is a pretty tight fit. In fact, this tolerance was probably the tightest. May not even need to actually be glued together, but I went ahead and glued it. See, I'm having to kind of knock them real hard together. But I went ahead and disconnected, put some glue in there, just to be safe. And there's the connection. No clamping needed. Put that down and let it dry. Alright, this small little loop piece that kind of helps close out the shape of the grip is going right there. Glue on, piece on. Pretty simple. Clamp it if you want. I just kind of pressed it together, held for 30 to 60 seconds. Alright, it's taken shape. Let's put that whole main rail on top of the prop. It's going to connect on the front and on the back with a lot of gaps in between. Here's where I would glue the rear. Here's where I would glue on the front. Remember to dry fit it first, see how it connects, but this is how I'd do it. Press that together, and this, if you've got clamps, use them. Use a couple on the barrel right there. The rest of it, I mean, if you've got one of these hand clamps as well, that's how to use that one. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. But, you know, you can never have too many clamps. That's the rule. I didn't make that rule. Okay, let's have these doodads put together. Those are going on the rear. That's the general idea right there. But let's do this one first. Slots in pretty easily right there. Dry fitting before gluing. Glue that one on. I pressed and held for 30 to 60 seconds. Let it set in. Always wipe off the excess. And now this guy will connect that top rail with the rear of the upper assembly, just like that. Held it together, did not clamp. Well, okay, I clamped it to make sure it stayed upright so that the thing could set. That's about it. Everything is together. This is what you should have. I did include links in the description below if you've made this from a file for the supplies used. Hope you enjoy.